Homegrown is the show of the year.
I was singing to you for an hour or two. I was singing to you.
Three gifted northern bands deliver a memorable night of music when Actual Wolf,
For an hour or two. I was singing to you.
Southwire,
We're gonna make it over and I'm through.
and Black Eyed Snakes featuring Charlie Parr take center stage.
You better get your house in order. Train's gonna be heading out.
I've never been in a rock band in my life.
It's the same music. It's just electric. It's got drums, and I'm yelling a little bit harder than Charlie usually does, but not much.
It's a concert that links country and rock, gospel and hip-hop, folk and blues in the main room at the Clyde Iron Works. The playlist presents the best of Clyde at the Duluth Homegrown Music Festival.
Thanks for staring at us. We love you more than you might ever know.
Funding for the playlist is provided by the citizens of Minnesota through the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund.
It was a little too, and I was wide awake. So I thought about us for an hour or two. And as I fell back to sleep, babe, I was thinking of you. I was thinking of you. I was thinking of you for an hour or two. I was thinking of you. My body ached. So I thought about it. Then I got out of bed for an hour or two. And as I stumbled around the place, I was saying to you, I was saying to you, I was saying to you for an hour or two. I was saying to you, I was wide awake with nothing to do. For an hour or two, I was singing to you. I took myself in with you on the brain. My body felt heavy, and it was aching again. So I called my quick for a minute or three. I'm dreaming about you, baby. Are you dreaming of me? Are you dreaming of me? Are you dreaming of me? For a minute or three. Are you dreaming of me? My body felt heavy. For a minute or three. I'm dreaming about you, baby. Are you dreaming of me? I'm dreaming about you, baby.
Yeah.
We knew we had to throw down. And the funny thing was, we knew that there was going to be some expectation because I'd only done the homegrown previous, I'd only done acoustic. And so we knew there was going to be some expectation about the full band, because we hadn't played many full band shows in Minnesota up until that point.
Presidentially determined, I will raise my warrior's cup. Reach you all servant, laced with leadership and love. Well, I cry out this and I cry out that, cry out to the waitress again. Recollect why they tossed me out before I try to get back in. I review my silly thoughts and decree to all a masterpiece full of glorious battles lost. Well, I leave out this and I leave out that, leave this place after another round. Try to recall why I misspoke before I try to save this town, and it's wrong. It up, but you wasted, we're not feeling others' cup. Move on and let me be, or you will go down, my enemy, 'cause it's one more night in the wind. Mistaken I will focus on my heart, holding you a bonfire full of kerosene and spark. Well, I burn up this and I burn up that, burn up bridges built with love. Could our passions be like bonded steel before I try to burn them up? And it's wrong. What you wasted when I get back the love from me. Move on and get a clue, or you will let my heart start killing you. 'Cause it's one more night in the wind. Yes, it's one more night in the wind. And it's wrong, oh, you needn't want it still. 'Cause I'm wasted, you won't get back the love you spill. Move out and get a clue, or you will let my heart start killing you. 'Cause it's one more night in the wind. Yes, it's one more night in the wind. No, it's one more night in the wind.
My music's just music. I like to call it this. Certain members of the band do not like it when I call it this. But it's more of a feeling of where I grew up and when I grew up. I just like to say it's bar band music. That's all we play is bar band music. But some of the guys in the band they feel like that cheapens what we're doing. But I don't think it cheapens it at all. I think it brings it back to the people, you know, because where do people consume music? In clubs and bars and festivals. And so if you're just bringing a good vibe, you're making good bar band music.
Let's get it going.
Standing in the sky, we're crying. The other day I was way. He said, listen, man, you're dying. Now, I'm a believer there's things I never knew. It is happening to me. I pray to God it don't happen to you. It ain't worth my time standing in this courthouse waiting, and the criminals I'm facing, there the bailiff is standing, and the judge is complacent. Don't know how I will make it. Now I'm a believer of things already through. It is happening to me. I pray to God it don't happen to you. All right, everybody. It ain't worth my time outside this factory of choking. The other day I was well, my boss was complaining. Haven't got an explanation, and they busted up my union. Now I'm bound for the unemployment line, 10 years too soon. It is happening to me. I pray to God it don't happen to you. Told me, hey, I think I'm dying. Now I'm a regretter of things we've never done. I can't live without you, baby. Now I know you're the one. I can't live without you, baby. Now I know you're the one. Thanks a lot, everybody. Southwire's up next.
Southwire was recorded before a live studio audience.
Of the Communist Manifesto. We study these notes and hold these truths to be self-evident based on the power vested by some late capitalist suite and the individual consumptive choices of your milieu. I let it all sound. It ain't super stupid. Sweet Judy Bloom, it's been so long since we moved through your Uber at such speeds. They ain't got a clock for this, but if they did, it would be relative, I'm sure. Dear Margaret, are you there? It's me, Ben. Ain't got nothing but the bad kids in the back holding down on a piece of paper and a pen. Shame on them. Thank you very much.
My name is Jerry Small, and I play in Southwire.
There is this kind of actual transcendent, beautiful power that comes out of her playing and singing that I'm just not capable of.
My name's Sean Elmquist, and I play drums in Southwire.
It's sort of important to have someone with the utmost sort of care and taste with something as so potentially destructive as a drum kit in front of them.
On stage, you see him behind the drums, but he's crucial to how the songs form and crucial to our recordings.
My name is Ben Larson. I play in Southwire.
Just kind of a traditional P.T. Barnum showman.
He's fantastic at sort of like engaging and making, like I said, sort of making the songs maybe a bigger conversation.
I'm really happy and lucky to have those two to work with. And then Mobes is exceptional too.
He's classically trained and you know, amazingly skilled, but he also has a great sensitivity to what he's playing.
I really can't say enough about him. I wish he was in less bands. I'll say that.
I can't imagine doing the band with any other 4 people.
Damn, it's a good-looking crowd.
It's hard to explain. It's hard even for me to sort of pin down.
I don't know, I guess like I do stand behind this gospel rap folk thing.
But it's becomes something else.
Hip-hop music has a huge influence on my contribution to Southwire, as well as Ben's, I suppose, because we played rap music together for so long.
Sometimes it sounds like rapping or some like this gruff guy's yelling at you in between beautiful singing, but I think the overall effect is sort of like what the most important formal thing about rap is, and that's it's sort of like formal awareness of itself.
And started out maybe sort of softer or sweeter or something like that, but it's just kind of moved into, I think, kind of like heavier topics and tones over time.
And Southwire, I think, to its great credit, sort of has a novel sound in its own way, which is a sort of really hard and rare and precious thing, I think, in music.
We've been to the mountaintop and we looked over. And we may not make it there with y'all, but y'all gonna make it.
Jerry starts with a piece of Jerry magic.
which might be like a piano figure or part of a song, a lyric, some kind of tune, or just kind of idea. Sometimes they're more fully formed, and sometimes they're kind of just pieces.
And then I do usually sort of bring it to Sean. He's sort of been like a musical collaborator and confidant for a long time.
And then I kind of work with Jerry to kind of Southwire it up, I guess, to add my contribution.
And then Ben does his own writing as well and sort of responds to what that musical structure is, or maybe what some of those verses are, but then he takes it somewhere else.
So for me, like these holes where sort of like the song kind of turns itself over to me are sort of opportunities every night to sort of improvise on stage for me. And I guess I sort of take that as my sort of job, is to like make sort of like the performance that's happening this evening relevant to sort of this evening and these people.
We're just as excited for the main event as you, so I think we got one more happy song just to bring us all a little closer together, a little bit more. But thanks for staring at us. We love you more than you might ever know. Let's just end this war, y'all. Just kidding, I'm never gonna stop fighting. We struggle in the open, ladies and gentlemen, in the open. My class enemies only know the cloak and the dagger, but we struggle in the open, because life is not secret, it's not private, not life. We struggle in the open for all to see.
Yesterday you were a different man. Tomorrow has not happened yet. All we are is where we stand. Every day, every day, every day, every day, every day is proof.
Round the wheel, by his wheel, on this bull. You might his wheel, you might his wheel. Cause we won't get it, I'ma tell where to come. Sports game, you can't find a brother. Go for the children, they belong in the village. It's on the grass and it's too tall to tell them. Already here, did a spawn with a kid. The spell will come, they don't find the bill. Spoke with long, get it head down. Like Tom and Huck, they won't pass, they won't buy. And all I know is more high. We struggle in the morning. Every day, every day, every day, every day, every day, every day, every day is proof.
Yesterday you were a different man.
Well, I was getting there and looking away.
Tomorrow has not happened yet.
I can promise me better than hell. Say one more baby. There ain't nobody there but just us. Every day, every day, every day, I mean every day, every day, every day, every day. Boys with them big game down in the swimming pool, drowning them kids. And I remember his name like it was yesterday. Spark with a scatter with a spark put away. Tools in the shed, find no brother with spare. Little child, little man, little spoil from on my boy. And I ain't go home. Still on my feet. I feel it when I'm gone. She talking about every day, every day, every day, every day, every day, every day, every day is proof.
Every day is proof.
Ladies and gentlemen, the new and improved Jerry Smart. Where y'all at? and the boys. Thank you very much.
We'll do a little song about a train. It's just not just any train. It's a train that leaves from all stations at all times. They don't only go in one direction.
I missed registration for Homegrown. I don't know how I did it. I thought it was in February, it was in January, I don't know. And so Walt, who's always super kind to me, calls me up and he goes, "You missed registration. Aren't you in town for Homegrown?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm gonna be here." "What do you mean I missed registration? I'm gonna register next week, you know, when everybody else." "No, you missed registration." So I'm like, "Oh." And then he said, "Well, I'll make it work." I'm like, no, you know, fair play. You know, if anybody else missed registration, they would have missed registration. That's it. I said, "I'm not, you know, I'm just anybody else. Just don't worry. I'll be all right. I'm gonna come to the shows. I got the weekend off. I'm gonna come and hang out." And then he called me back and he said, "Why don't you play with the Snakes? That would be pretty wild." And I'm like, you know, if Alan likes it, I like it.
Playing with Charlie's sort of always been in the back of our heads, just because, like I said, we're sort of in the same realm and we're good friends and sort of doing stuff that's sort of similar, and there's sort of a point at which it crosses a little bit.
I see it as kind of, you know, kind of a meeting in the middle. I mean, I'm really heavily influenced by music from the mid to late 20s, early 30s, pre-war blues, they call it, rural blues, country blues. Alan and the Black Eyed Snakes are coming from Bo Diddley and Howlin' Wolf.
I call it primal blues.
You know, you can fit the two things together because my sound is not distorted and his sound is distorted, and they seem to like lock together pretty well.
Snakes, most of the songs are pretty open-ended. You know, it's like, well, there's an idea and there's some lyrics here, and where I put those is sort of loose from night to night, and how long we go or how it develops as we, you know, sometimes improvise sections and stuff like that. It kind of vary, and that's similar with Charlie.
I don't think you can dismiss stuff out of hand just because you wouldn't think it would work, and after you listen to it you think, well, that actually works pretty well.
It's the same music, it's just electric, and it's got drums, and I'm yelling a little bit harder than Charlie usually does, but not much.
This song is called Get Right Church. Get right, church, we're going home. Sing along. That's right, we're going home. We are all going home.
I was scared to death.
The whole time he definitely had a look on his face of like, I don't know, is this working all right? I don't know.
I'm not a rock musician at all. I never was. I've never been in a rock band in my life. You know, things that are that loud make me nervous.
I forget sometimes that we are loud.
I get a lot of encouragement from Alan on stage and off stage, and so I thought I'm going to be able to do this.
It was fun. We had a good time. He's humble. He's humble about those things. sound of a long, long, long winter. That's right.
My first overseas tour was with the Black Eyed Snakes, and watching Bob play every night was, and hanging out with him. He's such a good guy. He's hilarious. It's so much fun to tour with.
Yeah, when I had the idea to start the Snakes, I just knew, like, wow, Bob Olson. I mean, he's the only guy that loves and hates the blues as much as I do. Brad, I knew from Father Hennepin. Some friends of mine were in that band when they first started, and so that's how I met Brad, and I thought, wow, this guy's pretty aggressive, and he's a former Olympic hopeful. So he had a lot of endurance.
Yeah, Lane is there. He's been a good friend. He's a great percussionist, you know, and he was very excited to be there. And I told him, I said, this isn't our normal purview. You know, we're not electric musicians. I don't know how you'd electrify a washboard.
I suppose Lefty could play the washboard, you know. He's got a big drum, some shakers.
The big drum, that's wild. You know, and I was gonna, you know, you sit right in the middle of all that stuff, and it's a lot of sound. There's a lot of sound. There's no cracks in that sound at all. It all gets filled in somewhere, you know.
God moves on the water. People got to run and pray. you so much, everybody.
You know, like all that sex, drugs, and rock and roll stuff. Like that's, people want to do that stuff.
I'm not a rock and roll guy. Oh, what is that? Look at that. That's brilliant. Thanks, Bob.
We explicitly do not style ourselves as rockers. I can't actually even play the guitar. It's just like a stage prop that I hold.
Funding for the playlist is provided by the citizens of Minnesota through the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund.